Road Wars follows 3 elite police units from Devon and Cornwall.
Oh, the key, man, you didn't have to do that.
Using high-powered motors, the road crime units specialise in stopping criminals in their tracks.
Get out of the car. You're under arrest for failing to stop for police.
With the help of highly trained German shepherds, the dog squad sniff out some of the toughest crimes.
Just turn around, put your hands behind your back.
And the tactical aid group is fully equipped to enforce the law. On the front line of policing, the 3 teams are never far away from the action.
All right. Right.
Coming up in tonight's programme, Speed Search.
It's got a distinctive smell of unfares.
Wheelchair Wars, and a slippery customer.
Why am I going to shove it up my flippin' what's it?
Anything can happen, police in the streets, and in Road Wars the unexpected is always just around the corner. Roger Hockin and Giles Bedson from the Road Crime Unit are nearing the end of a late shift. It's been quiet so far, but you never know what's round the corner when police in the streets. Before they knock off, they've been asked to check out a motor on the M5.
Some information come through that there might be one of the best cars ever made. A Porsche 911 Carrera 4 convertible coming down. They might have had some previous insurance problems.
Insurance stop checks are bread and butter jobs for the RCU.
I don't think that came out.
The pair make it to the hard shoulder. They just have to hope the Porsche hasn't already passed them by. Just 30 seconds later, they spot the motor and are off.
We're eyeballing the car now, just making some ground.
They've looked out. The 911 is in their sights. Now it should be a straightforward stop check.
Nice car.
Giles owns a Porsche Boxster himself, but it's got nothing on this motor.
Not bad, yeah.
What is one of those worth?
Carrera 4 S convertible. Got to be looking at 85 plus.
85.
Try and get it exact, Roger.
Roger points the onboard ANPR camera at the car's number plate, and it triggers a warning marker, telling him the Porsche has been pulled over for dodgy insurance in the past.
If he beated that, I don't think we'd catch him somewhere.
No.
Not on this road, anyway.
This Carrera 911 is one serious motor. Top speed nearly 200. So the boys just hope the driver plays it cool when they put on the blues. So far, so good. The driver might be in a flashy sports car, but like everyone else, he has to have insurance.
Hi, sir, all right? Appears to be a problem with your insurance.
Insurance?
Yeah, can you just turn it off and come take Pew in the car, please?
It's question time.
Nice little motor.
Yeah.
Just take Pew in there, speak to my colleague.
The reason we stopped your vehicle is just to check your documents. Have you had problems with the insurance previously?
No.
You've been stopped by the police before?
Never.
Well, something must have happened, because, yeah, you've got an information marker against it.
Well,
Just leave your phone for a minute, mate.
I know I'm going to ring my friend now.
What friend?
Insurance. It is.
Eh?
Whose car it is on the insurance?
Oh, it's not your car?
No.
Okay, we'll grab you. We'll just hold on to your phone just till we check you out to make sure you're not a masked gunman or anything.
He isn't the owner of the Porsche, and Giles' policing radar is going into overdrive.
Whereabouts are you heading to?
I'm just going down to Plymouth.
What for, mate?
Just to see my friend down there.
Okay. You got any previous convictions, police-wise?
Yeah.
What for?
Yeah, still nice. Go ahead.
That was years ago. Preventing the cause of justice.
The bloke's voice is breaking up, and he's looking distinctly under pressure.
I'm just going down to Plymouth.
What for, mate?
Just to see my friend down there.
It's all a bit strange, and Giles instinctively knows something ain't right.
Interesting. He says it's not his car, and he doesn't really want to tell us where he's going. So we'll do some digging and see what it is. I certainly wouldn't lend out my Carrera 4S to somebody that wasn't on the insurance, that's for sure.
Giles has got a gut feeling this innocent stop check is going to turn up something big, but he has no idea that he's about to stumble upon one of the most astounding jobs in his unit's history. All will be revealed after the break. still to come on Road Wars. Puppy power!
Probably got about £18,000 in. Right?
Snow power! And a muddy emergency. Coming up on Road Wars. A record discovery.
Located something, make sure he can't leg it.
Bumper cars and street art.
The bonnet has been attacked.
Giles and Roger from the Road Crime Unit have pulled over a Porsche driver on a straightforward insurance stop check. Well, the bloke's been behaving very strangely. Giles knows something is seriously suspect, so he decides to search him.
Just due to the circumstances, mate, I'm not totally happy with it at the moment, I must admit. If you've got no ID and you're driving someone else's car...
I know, it's my friend's, he's half hired.
It's a lot of money's worth of car, isn't it? All right, what I want...
Can I ring him now?
Yeah, we'll do that in a minute. Right. What I want to do is just search you, hang on. Okay, the reason I'm searching is to make sure you haven't got anything that you might have used to steal the vehicle or indeed be connected with the vehicle, all right? Just got the keys there? Stand out of the car, mate. Keep your hands out your pockets. Keep your hands out your pockets, mate. Right. What's that there?
Phone.
You got two phones?
Yeah, that's...
Okay, put your hands on top there.
Now, why would someone need two mobiles?
Due to the fact you've got two phones as well,
That's for a bird, that, mate.
Yeah. I'll also be searching you under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act to make sure you've got no controlled substances on you, okay? Have you got anything on you at all you shouldn't have?
Not a thing, mate.
What about in the vehicle?
The bloke's claiming there's nothing in the car, but he has got two phones. And what's this? A pocket full of Reddies? This fella's in deep water and he's starting to sink.
Obviously, it's a very expensive motor car, and I just find it a bit strange that you've got it, to be honest. If it's not yours.
Can you ring the lad now whose car it is?
Yeah, I mean, that could be anyone, couldn't it? Put your hands back on there.
The lad claims he can get it all sorted by phoning the owner, but Giles and Roger aren't buying it.
It's just very strange, you know. He's got an awful lot of money on him, £300. He's got no identification whatsoever to prove who he is, and he's driving, you know, a car that's worth in excess of 80 grand. So we'll definitely be doing a bit more investigation on this one. I don't usually like searching cars, but I'll make an exception on this occasion, I think.
This is starting to look a bit more sinister than your average no insurance. Then something in the driver's jacket pocket catches Giles' eye.
Yeah, Roger's another grand in his pocket here.
In total, that's more than 1,300 quid in cash.
Quite a bit of money there.
But it's a black bin bag that's got his attention.
You, Roger, just keep an eye on him. I've located something behind the back seat, mate. Make sure he can't leg it.
Giles has found two bin liners in the back of the car.
Yeah, thanks for that.
And it's making the bloke very nervous. Just a moment ago, he said there was nothing inside the Porsche.
Have you got anything on you at all you shouldn't have?
Not a thing, mate.
What about in the vehicle? Got something in pots, I don't know what it is. Just having a look at it now. It absolutely stinks, whatever it is. I'd imagine that's probably drugs myself.
Giles has stumbled on one hell of a stash. If it is Class A, then it's worth even more than the motor. It looks like Giles has hit the jackpot.
Roger, clear P-wits, mate.
P-wits stands for possession with intent to supply, and Roger nicks the driver for dealing. This is a big arrest.
Right, arresting you on suspicion of possession of Class A drug with intent to supply. Do not selling a bit, may harm offensive. Do not mention when questioned, something you should later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand that?
This bloke's journey has come to a crashing end. It started out as a routine stop check, but now Giles and Roger know they've uncovered something big.
It stinks, and it's obviously a compressed form. Whether it's compressed cocaine, I don't know. I wouldn't like to hazard a guess until it's been properly tested.
They've got to get this bloke back to the nick, so another unit is en route to help out.
You wait all day for a job that doesn't come off. You just do a stop check on the way home and you get this. So delighted, absolutely delighted.
Fellow RCU officer Mark Moore turns up and offers to drive the Porsche back to the station, but Giles has got hold of the keys and he's not letting go.
No, I'll drive the Porsche.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
if you could drive that one, that'd be ideal.
It's a short journey back to Heathertree Station in Exeter. The suspect is cuffed in the back of the car, and Giles is right behind them in the Porsche. The bloke is led straight into custody to be booked in, while Jim, the unit sergeant, is keen to find out what Giles has uncovered.
Yeah, okay. You can smell it from here as soon as you put your head in. This is the bag I've opened. They're all tied the same. Possibly cocaine, but a substantial amount of whatever it is. And there's 2 bags with the same quantity in. We've just called out scenes of crime. We basically take some photographs of the vehicle and the items in situ, and then we'll bag them up in the presence of them. So we've got basically continuity of the items to make sure that no one can argue that we placed them there or handled them incorrectly.
It's a monumental haul, one of Devon and Cornwall's biggest cocaine seizures. 4 kilos of compressed coke worth almost 200 grand on the street. The Porsche turned out to be a hire car and was returned to the company. In court, Daniel Mawson admitted being paid to courier the drugs down from the north. He was transporting cut-down coke, ready to be bagged up and sold. It turned out he was just minutes away from the drop-off point when Giles and Roger collared him. The pair's quality policing prevented 4,000 wraps of cocaine getting onto the streets. Mawson pleaded guilty to possessing cocaine with intent to supply. He's now serving a 5-year sentence in prison. It's 2 in the morning, and the bloke behind the wheel of this car is on the run from the law.
Only 1 police vehicle behind it, 1 Met vehicle.
The Met's police chopper is tracking him on its thermal imaging camera. The hot areas show up as black, and a cop car's on his tail.
Reversing at speed towards the marked police vehicle.
This blur is trying to turn the table on police by chasing them. He can't pick up enough speed in reverse, so he spins round and charges towards the cop car.
Yeah, all units drop away from this vehicle. Confirm MP, it's recip towards the marked vehicle, back southbound.
This Val's got his foot down and the police car is in his sights.
He's now ramming the police car from behind, MP.
He's pulling highly dangerous stunts to avoid capture, trying to ram the patrol car off the road.
And a sharp left bend. And an immediate right.
He's pulled into a farmyard to hide, but this animal can't get away from the chopper. When the road driver pulls back onto the road, he's met by a convoy of cops, and he tries to ram them once again.
MP, he's back out southbound Pex Hill. Well, I think he's looking to cause more mayhem.
This numpty seems hell-bent on playing bumper cars.
Yes, all units are aware this person will take out the police cars. Distance, please.
Officers are holding back, so the Jeep driver has a chance to pull away.
And the vehicle's slowing, and it's done a left into Derby Road, which is in the Lee Valley Park, and onto a driveway. Stand by.
He's out of the car with his faithful pooch in tow.
Male's out on foot, back towards Dobbsweir Road with the dog.
And lets himself into his home.
He's now into a premises.
The bloke thinks he's got away and casually goes into his house as if he's just got back from a hard day at the office. But outside, it's not your normal street scene.
Yeah, confirm that is the vehicle.
23 cops have surrounded the house. One smashes a window at the back and jumps inside.
All units right, all units right. There's officers inside the premises. Male is being challenged now. Right, between you. Get down.
There's no way out. Officers spray him with CS gas and wrestle him to the floor. The aggressive cop rammer is frog-marched out of his house and led away to his new home, a police cell. Stopping drug dealing is a major priority for the police, and today the cops have a suspect who's selling in Torbay. The Tactical Aid Group have been dispatched to search the property. Led by Sergeant Tony Willis, Ashburton C-Section are specialists in getting into and searching houses.
So you're going to go first left, mate? Hey?
Looks like they won't need to bash the door. It's open.
Right!
Please, there you are! Bedroom clear!
A bloke and a woman are in the kitchen, while the target of the operation gets a rude awakening upstairs.
There's a strong smell of cannabis in here, mate. Got from somewhere in here.
This might explain the smell. In a nearby room, there are 3 bags of the green stuff.
Bit of cannabis and some cash and lots of little baggies. Already packaged up. Nice and handy.
The raiders turned up some drugs, but the team have got a lot more searching to do. Outside, the family's bulldog might look fierce, but Bella is the dog to worry about. The Springer Spaniel's sniffing skills can speed up any search.
She's trained to search for all the drugs, cash and firearms search. If we've got people in the house, I'll then move people out of the room that they're in, search that, and then I'll move upstairs.
Good girl.
After a spin around the house, Bella sniffs something underneath a tray on a bedside table.
She'll scrabble at it.
Right girl.
Or she'll bark at it. Good girl.
Nice, I'll tell you what.
That's good, isn't it?
That's good fight.
She's interested in this jacket too. This ordinary suburban bedroom is starting to look more like a branch of Barclays. More cash.
Does anyone keep £18,000 in under the bedside table? I don't think so nowadays, really. Ideal.
Now that's what I call personal banking. And Simon Boobius found some more tucked in the smalls drawer.
What have we here? A very large amount of cash. Funny enough, stuffed down the sock drawer. A lot of money there.
It's all bagged up as evidence. But what are they going to call it?
A large amount of banknotes. Good thinking.
Whoa, these trousers might be criminal, but they won't be seized as evidence. After hours of searching, Tony has come up trumps in the kitchen. You wouldn't want to add these ingredients to a casserole?
Just located this behind this pelmet here with something. It's very much like amphetamine paste. It's got a distinctive smell of amphet, so I believe this nice little bag of amphet's worth quite a bit of money.
Go to the lounge.
The tag raiders uncovered plenty of drugs and stacks of cash, and Vicky Howell is happy with their haul.
It's a very successful warrant. We ended up seizing thousands of pounds in various locations of the premise. We arrested 3 occupants at the time in there. All 3 for money laundering and possession with intent to supply, because we found a small money-sized bag of what we believe to be amphetamine and some herbal cannabis in small bags that would be dealable. So that's going to be sent off for testing. They've been arrested today, they're going to be interviewed, and we'll take it from there.
These 2 occupants weren't involved with drugs or the money, so no action was taken against them. Graham Upton was charged with possession of controlled substances. There was no evidence of him dealing. Fortunately for the super saver, his money was legit and it was returned. He was fined 50 quid and made to cover court costs. He shouldn't have a problem stumping up the cash. Now, you wouldn't expect to get yourself into too much trouble on a Sunday stroll by the River Thames, but it can be a dangerous place.
Just been told that the Hardmasters Launch can see 2 females, and they believe there'll be about 10 more minutes before the water reaches them, so they're 10 minutes away from the water.
These 2 girls are in a seriously sticky situation. They're stuck in the mud, and they have 10 minutes before they'll be caught in the rising tide.
Romeo Golf, India 99, we got visual on the 2 females and the LFB making their way out to them now.
There are firemen on hand, but they have to tread very carefully.
Just for info, one of the females is certainly standing on the mud. Another female seems to be stuck, possibly up to the waist.
The more these girls try and escape, the deeper they sink in the mud, so one of the firefighters throws them a lifeline. She puts the lasso around her waist, and 2 fire officers try and pull her out. This lass is hardly a beached whale, but she's seriously bogged down and she's not budging. It's time for Plan B. The London Fire Brigade place safety planks on the mud so they can get to the girls from one side.
We've now got LFB approaching these females. LFB on scene approaching these females.
And on the other side, the RNLI roll out the red carpet for the marooned maidens. The emergency teams have reached them well before the water could. The girls are led to safety by their knights in fluorescent armour and lifted onto the boat. They're not looking their best, but these girls are okay. Every cloud has a silver lining. At least they can tell their mates they were pulled by some fit fellas.
Romeo Golf, both females are on the lifeboat now, into life jackets, and we will leave you to it.
Still to come on Road Wars, crossed wires,
Bit of a shed, isn't it?
spinning wheels, and one filthy tongue.
When they come back with absolutely buckle on.
Coming up on Road Wars, Snow Patrol.
What are you doing?
Drawn and Dangerous, and a close shave.
Yeah, you're hiding something under there.
It's midnight in Exeter, and dog handler Gareth Rees is responding to a 999 call. A woman has phoned the police claiming a young girl has vandalised a car and done a runner.
Yeah, 83 confirmed that the bonnet has been attacked, I would suggest, with a set of keys.
Someone's done some serious damage to this smart new Audi, but the caller's information isn't adding up.
There's conflicting reports that the young lady was seen walking down towards a road. Well, if you go down this way, the name of the road that they're suggesting, it's not down that way, it's up the hill, so there's a little bit of conflict. But I'm going to get Finn out and see if he can pick up a track. Good luck.
General purpose police dogs like Finn can follow tracks long after a criminal has fled the scene.
Come on.
But Finn isn't picking up a scent, and it's starting to look like the caller's giving them duff information.
If she'd been down here, and I think he would have been ripping my hand off now, but he's not.
There's no track, and Gareth meets up with another unit to tell them about his suspicions.
It would not be beyond the realms of possibility that the individual that's phoned in is in fact the offender. But there you go.
Over a week ago, another car was scratched in the same area. Just like this incident, it was reported by a woman from a public phone box who refused to give her name. The police have a suspect in mind, so Gareth stays in the area to see if she's around. After an hour of searching, he spots the girl he's been looking for.
Claire Hall?
Yeah.
OK, Claire. Have you got anything on you that you shouldn't? I'm not going to pull any punches with you now.
Oh, get that.
Listen, no, don't you say a word. Let me just say something to you now. We have, not a million miles away from here, a car that's damaged. It's been keyed. I want you to put your hands in your pocket and fish out all your keys. No, put that back in your pocket, mate. Keys or a knife? Have you got a knife on you? No. You know what we're talking about in relation to a vehicle that's been damaged?
No.
You've had no involvement in that vehicle?
No.
She's denying everything, so Gareth decides to call her bluff.
If I seize these keys and I send them away for forensic analysis,
I'll come back.
They'll come back negative.
Whatever's in the door.
Because that's what I'm going to intend to do. My hunch is that you've damaged a vehicle up the road there and you've used these keys.
So when that comes back negative, do I get an apology from you?
You will get an apology from me. But if it comes back positive, what will you get from you?
Nothing, because it's not going to come back positive.
The thing is, within the last couple of weeks, the last few weeks, there's been a number of these incidents. How many, I'm not quite sure. But it's always been your name that's been mentioned. And it's always been your face that's been not a million miles away from the damaged vehicle.
I live round here.
The girl claims it's one big coincidence and gives Gareth an alibi.
OK.
Sir, you can check your bloody cameras. I've been sat down there on the wall. And if you go and have a look at your CCTV, you will see that there's me sat right on that wall for the last half an hour.
So half an hour you've been sat on that wall, and the half an hour before that?
Half an hour, give or take, a couple of minutes.
Do you know why you're getting yourself upset?
Because I want my flipping keys back, not because nothing's going to come back on them. It's for the fact that
I think you know full well that we're going to get a result.
You know what? You do that, and you know what? I want an apology from you when they come back with absolutely buckle on.
There's no need to swear now, young lady.
Funny,
young lady, there is no need for you to swear.
When they come back negative, I want an apology off you personally.
Wouldn't be the first time I got it wrong.
Gareth does a background check over the radio to see if this stroppy madam's been in trouble with the law before.
Claire.
What?
Have you done this sort of thing before then?
Once, when I was drunk.
What did you do in a car?
Draw, do you know, pen?
With a pen?
Nicked me.
This girl has damaged a car before, but she's not coughing to this crime, so Gareth tries another tactic.
The other thing that we can do, of course, is
Did you give a name on
the caller in relation to this job is a female. Now, if we were to do a voice comparison with your voice, what would that turn up?
I don't know.
Well, what do you think? What's your hunch? If we made a voice comparison...
Do you know what, mate? Do what you want. I ain't saying anything else.
Gareth has no proof, but police have got access to forensic teams and voice recognition technology to crack crimes like these. Someone's caused 800 quid's worth of damage to a motor, and Gareth is refusing to give up.
Stand up, turn around, put your hands behind your back, you're going to be handcuffed, okay? The reason why you're being handcuffed is to preserve any evidence that you may have on you. Yeah. Do you understand that? But you are not under arrest.
I'm not being funny, but I'm not...
Yes, you are going to be strip searched.
Why though? Why am I going to...
Because there's a possibility that you've concealed the tool, weapon...
Up my flipping... What's it?
Or your clothes. It's not going to be an intimate search, okay? So it's just going to be your clothing is going to be searched. Do you understand?
Oh yeah, that's all right.
Yes.
I thought you were on about
No.
Claire, you alright, sweetheart? You going to be chilling out for us? You'll be alright?
She's fine now. Now she's realised what's happening. I think she was
on,
under...
mate, you know me from a prom.
Get with these officers if you go in their car.
It's estimated that false 999 calls cost police forces up to £1,000 each time to investigate, so Gareth's keen to get a result. Back at Heathertree Nick, a closer bagged up to send off to forensics to see if they can link her to the crime.
We've seized the keys. A decision was made to seize all the clothing. During that process, the footwear was seized and flakes of silver paint were found on the soles of the training shoes, which then gave us the grounds to arrest, which is what we've done.
In interview, Claire Hull realised she was facing a forensic investigation. It was all too much, and she coughed to scratch in the car and admitted she was the caller. On top of that, she also admitted vandalising 2 other motors. She was given an 18 hours community order and made to pay 100 quid in compensation. It just goes to show that Gareth's persistence paid off in the end. Drivers in Alaska are used to snow on the roads, but one false move in freezing conditions can have disastrous results. A bloke in a white van is going too fast, and when he puts his foot on the brake, he skids out of control. The van driver was okay, and he was lucky not to seriously hurt someone. It just goes to show, white van drivers, a lapse in concentration and severe weather conditions can be a highly dangerous combination. A major snowfall overnight has caused a whiteout in Devon. Whilst kids are making the most of the wintry weather, the police have got their work cut out. The heaviest snowfall in the county for 20 years has stranded hundreds of motorists and closed roads. It's even making national headlines.
Sky News Sunrise. First, our top story on Sunrise. Snow chaos has hit much of the south and west of England. Worst hit so far, the A38 near Exeter overnight, where the entire Devon and Cornwall police force was deployed to recover motorists.
The worst of the snow is over, but when the police chopper surveys the scene from above, the aftermath becomes clear. It's up to the road crime unit to make sure nobody's still trapped in their car. Ian Taft-Jones, in plain clothes, is on his way to join his colleague Chris Davidson, who's been helping out at Holden Hill.
We're on the 38 now, going towards Plymouth and Torquay. Because of the adverse weather last night, they actually shut both the M5, the 38 and the 380, leaving hundreds of motorists stranded on the side of the hill in blizzard-like conditions.
Chris has been helping dig cars out of the snow all morning. Overnight, more than 200 people had to be rescued. Now the weather's clearing, but the police still have to make sure everyone is accounted for.
There's quite a few abandoned vehicles no one's pulled through, so you've got concern for welfare there, haven't you? As to whether they're out in the fields or stuck to the woods.
The snow might have eased, but the fallout is huge. One motorway has been closed, causing miles of tailbacks and major delays. Back on the ground in Exeter, dog handler Colin Harper is also lending a hand. He spotted some frustrated drivers pulling stupid stunts.
Well, the M5 between junctions 29 and 31 is closed because of the problems at Holden Hill. As I'm driving along, I'm just seeing vehicles reversing down the on-slip, which is just highly dangerous.
Thousands of vehicles are at a standstill, but some impatient drivers are reversing the wrong way down the hard shoulder to try and get off the motorway. This cheeky transit driver is leading the charge coming the wrong way on the slip road, but he hadn't banked on coming head-to-head with Colin.
What are you doing? I appreciate that, but I'm not. You're going to have to sit here for a minute, okay? Just for 2 seconds. A1.
With all of the units tied up, Colin has to act quickly before there's a serious incident.
It's just getting dangerous now. They're literally driving at me, coming down this slip road. So they're not even reversing now. They've turned round and they're driving down. I'm not going to allow you to reverse down a slip road.
This is what the cars are reversing onto, a dual carriageway. It might be freezing conditions, but some drivers are getting seriously heated.
The weather like it is, people are driving at like 10 miles an hour.
I don't care. This is still an on-slip. I'm not going to argue with you.
Well, I'm not arguing with you about that.
But you're driving down an on-slip.
It's normal conditions and people are shooting up here at 50 mile an hour, which ain't happening. There's no way
I didn't say it was normal conditions. But the fact is, though, you're still driving onto oncoming traffic.
It would not have been dangerous.
It is dangerous, and I'm telling you it is.
Not when you're driving at 10 miles.
Well, whether it's 10 miles an hour or whatever.
And you can see from there right down to here. So
it doesn't matter. People aren't expecting to be facing vehicles driving towards them coming onto a motorway.
Well, is there any point in turning around if in a minute you're going to be
yes, there is,
turning around the other way? And then we're all going to turn back round and come
perhaps, but at the moment I want you to go back where you were. Thank you.
Eventually backup arrives and traffic units shut the slip road onto the motorway.
I was just trying to get the Highways Agency to police the motorway, which we can't, but we've just got some signs and cones to close this on-slip, just to try and make sure people don't come on and the others can't reverse down.
By midday, the traffic problems are under control. But back at Holden Hill, Taff has got one more issue to take care of with Chris.
Got about a foot of snow last night in Holden Hill, which has blocked off the A380 towards Torquay and the A38 to Plymouth.
Oh, talk about eating your words.
As you can see, it's great for kids and the likes of Taff. So yeah, we've been out today trying to dig up the cars and just trying to get the road back open once it is now.
150 cars were recovered, and thanks to dedicated cops like Chris, everyone was accounted for following the freak snowfall.
Right, I'm going. Yeah. See you later, have a good day.
These 3 cop cars up ahead are pursuing a man in America who's stolen this Honda, and he's wanted for murder too. He's a highly dangerous criminal who's desperate to get away. But police in the States have a seriously direct approach when it comes to high-speed pursuits. This unmarked police car has carried out the perfect pit manoeuvre, which stands for Pursuit Intervention Technique. It's a grand title which basically means ramming a motor off the road. The Honda's a write-off, and the driver's surrounded by cops with guns drawn. This criminal has definitely reached the end of the road. The suspected murderer survived the smash. The best place for this plank is not behind the wheel of a car, but behind bars. Mike Brown and Chris are patrolling the back roads near Tiverton.
Right, I'm just going to look at this car here. He's parked on the other side of the road. I don't know what he's doing. The car looks, it's rather tight. It's a young lad driving. I'm just going to have a chat and see what he's up to. Saw him earlier as well, going a bit further down the road. He went past and sort of gave us a dirty look. So
I don't know about a dirty look, but this motor doesn't look like it's been washed and serviced in a while.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Yeah.
Do you want to jump out from here, mate?
Both vehicles to go to it. And,
what's wrong with your car?
Everything out. Let's see if we can get them
It's not my car, I've borrowed it. I've got the keys to prove.
Just stay a minute. Just stand up a minute. Just stand up. All right.
Charles,
Because obviously the condition of your car, mate, I'm just going to cuff you just to detain you so we can do some more inquiries, all right? So I want to make sure the car's not stolen, all right? Don't worry about it. We'll get it sorted. If we can transpire the vehicle is yours, then you'll be cutting on your way. Right, okay. All right. At the moment, mate, I don't know it's your car.
The ignition's knackered, and there's a brick in the front of the Fiesta. No wonder Chris is suspicious. Looking at the state of the motor, Mike comes over with his dipper. A sheriff of the road, he likes to shoot from the hip.
It's a bit of a shed, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's borrowed for a journey, right?
Mike does a roadside test for illegal red diesel, which is only supposed to be used in agricultural and construction vehicles, not on public roads.
How much fuel's in here, Lee?
Not a lot.
Jim, for Chris, you got a moment, can I have a couple of PNC checks, please? Vehicle and name.
I've stuck a fiver in a full court, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
First one, vehicle Lima 267 Delta Tango Tango.
Yeah.
Lima 267 Delta Tango Tango.
And unless they sell red at Shell Garage.
Quite correct, it's all white in there.
It's all white, I told you that, my friend.
It's all white.
It's not this bloke's car. The diesel's okay, but Chris is leaving nothing unturned.
Spot on, mate.
Okay, mate. We're just in the leak, but we haven't even joined.
Take your hat off, really.
We were committed to go the other direction, but we
are you hiding something under there?
No, I can anything. I've just got a cold head because I've only had it shaved. This bloody freezing out about it.
Now it's time to see if his insurance is as clear cut.
The gentleman's not showing his insurance on this vehicle, it's not his, but he's got fully covered another vehicle. Can you just give my colleague, try and remember the registration number, because we need to confirm the score of the insurance, mate, alright?
Right.
Go, Jim.
The driver's certain he's got insurance for his van, so Chris does a check to see if he's covered to drive the Fiesta, but it's not looking good.
At the moment, you've got no documentation, and the vehicle belongs to somebody else, right? He's only insured to drive this vehicle, no other persons are listed. Your van is shown as off-road and there's no insurance listed. You're unable to provide any evidence now that you are insured to drive this vehicle.
Apart from my word.
The lad swears he's renewed the policy in the last few days. So Chris goes the extra mile and double checks with his insurance company. The driver's passenger has been taking a leak in the bushes and returns to the car to be confronted by the cops.
You thought about it, didn't you? You thought, oh, Bill, shall I come back to the car? Shall I turn around and run?
What's going on?
Well, basically, we're just speaking to Lee a minute.
Yeah.
Chris has spoken to the AA who want to speak to the driver. But after a bit of digging, this bloke's still in a hole.
The gentleman says he's insured, he spent half an hour on the phone and the insurance company just confirmed that he's got no insurance with him. So get him in the back of the car and report him and we'll seize his car.
It's estimated that 2 million drivers in the UK don't have cover, but the cops are fighting back. Because of tough new laws, they now seize 400 uninsured cars every day.
AA can't find any record of you at all.
Right.
All right, both on their vehicle and on van. Yeah, they can't find it at all, mate.
Right.
His mate's doing a jig outside. He won't be so happy when he finds out he's walking home.
I'm duty bound now to report you for driving a vehicle without insurance and to seize your vehicle.
Jog on, lads, if you want to make it home for tea.
See you later, gents. Lee. All right, take care, mate. Cheers, then. He's been reported for no insurance and that car is going to the big scrap heap in the sky. Won't be seeing that one on the road again.
All charges against Lee Stewart Craig were later dropped. But the old banger was taken to the scrap heap and crushed. Still to come on Road Wars.
Hey,
on the run.
We have ourselves a fugitive.
Police work doesn't always go to plan. This cop in Virginia has taken his eye off the ball. And it's a chap in a wheelchair. His bull bars have bulldozed this disabled bloke right out of his chair, face planting him onto the tarmac. Wallop. Now you see him. Now you don't. The officer helps the dazed man back into his buggy. He's okay, but the cop decides to sting him with a summons for crossing the road against the lights. Unsurprisingly, the summons was later withdrawn. Talk about being on the receiving end of the law. Mike and Chris are sitting up on a road in Totnes with their A&PR cameras. So far it's been a quiet morning. so Mike is keeping Chris entertained with his very best Yankee cop impersonations.
Sheriff John Bennell, a.k.a. Chris Davison and his team. We want every outhouse, hen house, dog house, and chicken house. Search for this man, gentlemen. We have ourselves a fugitive.
Mike's had his free shreddies again this morning.
Mike spots a potential lawbreaker out of the corner of his eye. But this driver's forgotten to wear his seatbelt.
Hey, yeah, baby. Oh, he's off and running.
Here we go. Here we go.
We have ourselves
a fugitive. Just going to stop on this vehicle on the head. Looks really tatty. And Mike, being the traffic cop, has spotted that he's got no seatbelt on either. I'm thinking drugs. Mike's thinking seatbelts, but...
I'm thinking reason to stop him and we'll go from there.
Not for a crime background, are you?
No, just a very heavily arrest background.
Everybody has to belt up while travelling in a car. If there are kids under the age of 14, it's the driver who has to make sure they're wearing a seatbelt.
Can't imagine he's exempt.
The only reason for not belting up is on medical grounds, with a sick note from the doctor to prove it.
He's not very observant, is he?
Bit naughty as well, isn't it? 40 and a 30. What's going on here?
This bloke's not only forgotten to use his seatbelt, but now he's speeding with a police car on his tail.
Bit of a numpty, isn't he, really?
No, he's a donut. The pair have seen enough. They decide to give him a flash of the blues.
The way he's set out. I'll let you run the checks through, mate. I'll get him out.
Yeah, OK. Just bear in mind he might be exempt. I doubt it.
Hello there. You medically exempt from wearing a seatbelt?
Oh, okay, sorry, I was just in a rush on the door. I totally forgot.
Right, yeah, I can see that. That's why you're doing 40 up a 30, weren't you?
Right, sorry.
Yeah, didn't see us at the back?
No,
right.
Sorry.
You're going to be even more of a rush now because I want you to join me in the back of the police car, please. Talk to my colleague through there.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Mike may have had his shreddies this morning, but it doesn't look like Chris has eaten his.
Chris?
Yeah?
You need a white one.
Should be white?
Yeah.
In a rush to deal with this driver...
Oh, yeah.
Chris nearly fills out a no MOT form.
Just going to give you one for no MOT there. You're not stupid, you know that seatbelt is compulsory, right? Unless you're medically exempt.
Yeah,
all right?
No, sure, yeah.
You're driving 40 in a 30.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're not really paying attention to us.
Yeah, sure.
So the risk of you having an accident is higher than normal, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You hit another car at 30 miles an hour when they come out of the junction, it's like hitting a brick wall. You'll be flying through that windscreen.
Sure.
And I'll be taking you home in a body bag.
Yeah.
The law is in place to prevent nasty accidents. So Chris gives him a reminder and a nasty hole in his pocket.
Because I'm giving you a fixed penalty notice. Right. It's non-endorsable, it's not points on your licence, but it's a £30 fine, OK?
Yeah, sure.
Got to get the message through to you, mate. You have to wear your seatbelt. Get your sign here for me. It says, oh, you're medically exempt from wearing a seatbelt. He said, no, I'm not. Just sign at the bottom there for me. Give that one to you. We'll just wait for checks. If you want to sit back in your car, I'll give you a nod that everything's all right. You can go on your way.
Fine, Chris.
All right. Yeah? Oh, it's all fine. Cheers, Annie.
Only a miracle could get this chap off the hook now.
Oh, bloody tickets flying across the...
Just as Chris sorts out the paperwork, a gust of wind gets hold of the ticket.
Look, there gives me evidence.
What a donkey.
Luckily, Chris manages to get hold of the evidence before it's blown away.
All right, it's a bit windy today.
And it certainly made Mike's day.
Well, he's already admitted that it was a bit of a rush, doing 40 up to 30, not wearing a seatbelt. So I've given him a fixed penalty notice for failing to wear a seatbelt. It would be a £30 fine. Just need to get the message across, really, that not wearing your seatbelt, you're at a higher risk of flying through the windscreen. As he's already stated, he wasn't really paying attention, so it's just fun having a ticket today. Hopefully he'll learn from that.
He's finally learned his lesson. Ian Dodge couldn't dodge the ticket. He failed to pay the 30 quid on time, so he had to pay an increased fine of 45 quid. Chris has learned a lesson too. Keep hold of the ticket while it's blowing a gale.
Fancy tucking into a good movie? Hayden Christensen is one of the 700 people who wake up during surgery, and it gets worse. Awake with Jessica Alba starts at 8 on Sky Movies Premiere. Lie to me, but don't lie to Tim Roth. He's got your porkies covered. Check out another of Sky One's great summer dramas at 10 on Thursday, or press green to series link the show if your memory is as good as mine.